Take your CJ7 all the way to 11. Jeepin' with Cool Guy.
Once you got the wiring harness undone, now we need to take off the brake lights. And this involves taking out these simple screws, and then you can take the bolts off from the inside of the actual light housing. Once we take off the lens, then we just need to take off these 3 screws that go right into the body, and then this whole assembly will come off. These are 3/8 head. Whole assembly comes right off. Now we need to fish the wiring harness. Actually, that's not going to work. These are all cut and capped together. I think that'll probably be the best way to do it, is to unscrew the caps on the inside. Now that I've pulled these through through the body wall, you can see that these things are really corroded and covered in stuff. So I'm going to use some purple power and clean up the wires so that I can keep track of what was connected to what. But it seems to be fairly simple. Some black, some whites, and some ground lines. So now that I've done the first part of that, that wiring harness connects to the passenger side brake light. So what I would do is I would recommend starting with this, and then you can pull the line all the way through and up through, instead of trying to disconnect that, then disconnect this. So for future reference, if you're going to do this, start with the passenger side first. Another word to the wise. The wiring harness from the passenger side light is connected with a simple connector, your usual waterproof 3-prong connector. And then the wiring harness goes all the way across underneath the rear valance. So it may be very difficult to get to a lot of these pieces if you haven't dropped the fuel tank, because you're going to have to reach up underneath and around the skid plate to get to it. My problem, obviously, isn't that. So this gives you a nice way of being able to see where the wiring harness actually is connected to the rear valance. Yay me. Now that we've got the wiring harness unhooked from the passenger side, then it just feeds up through the wheel well here and through a rubber gasket. So we need to pull this out. Once I get this pulled out, then you can take the whole wiring harness right up and out and through. Kind of rock it back and forth. Then it pops right out. And you can just feed the wires right up and through. Also notice I've labeled everything, so as I pull them apart, and when I put them back in, nice and easy. Now that we've got the wire harness pulled out, we've got all of our screws tagged and bagged. There's your brake light wiring harness, and tow, reverse lights, and the fuel sending unit wire, which I discovered when I took the wiring harness off the back. It was actually part of this contraption somewhere in here.